This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Monday, September 9th of 2024, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I have some more coverage from the Farm Progress Show. Andy Petersen talks with Kurt Coffey, he's the Vice President of North America with Case IH. And I also talk with Dan Cosgrove of Benson Hill about their latest product offerings, what they have planned for the future. But before we get into any of that, let's hear a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. First up here today, I have Andy Petersen talking with Kurt Coffey. Again, he is the Vice President of North America for Case IH. It's the year of the combine for Case IH, and they talk about that from a bit of a long-distance view of what they are offering this year, how it's gone so far, and what they have planned for the future.
We're looking at this show, we're looking at continuing to evolve a number of new technologies, both on the hardware side, so unveiling an all-new combine platform with the AF9 and AF10. I don't know if you have seen that yet. You have? Okay.
Yep. Leo did a great job filling us in on that.
Leo's passion is incredible. Also going deeper in our technology stack. So showing field ops out here where there's more access, improved UI, UX, user experience, both from a phone or in cab or remotely from a computer. So I would say doubling down on building out our portfolio. And you see that because if you walk around the show, which starts tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to see that Case IH showed up and we're really punching above our weight class. We've been doing that the last year with our Steiger platform. We've launched a new combine about every 90 to 100 days so far this year. The F11 at Louisville, the 60 series. Now we run a 9250 on my farm. Okay. So 9260 now available. We launched 100 days ago. And then here at the show, I guess tomorrow, the AF9 and AF10, which to me is really rewarding because it's the sweet spot of, middle America. It's the combine that's really going to turn heads for most professional farms across North America. Mm-hmm. Yes, the AF11, we're going to sell a lot of those in Canada and, big operations, but 9260, 8260 up to AF9 and 10 to me is extremely exciting, very rewarding.
Kind of the heartbeat of the lineup, if you will.
It's the 80 of the 80-20. Mm-hmm. If you want to make it plain, it's the 80th percent.
Thanks again to Kurt Coffey for being on the show today and to Andy Petersen for providing us with that interview. I also talked with Dan Cosgrove of Benson Hill about the latest happenings in that company. Again, this was from the Farm Progress Show as well. We also chatted about how their seed varieties have been going and what they have planned for the future.
Really nice for us personally to have that home field advantage when it comes to being at the Farm Progress Show. Weather getting a little hot. People still coming through, though, and I'm sure you guys have had plenty stop by the Benson Hill booth and just see what's going on, right?
We have, and we've given away a lot of water, but it has been hot, but it's a great show, much bigger than it has been in the past. So very excited to be here and happy to answer your questions.
Yeah, Dan, and I've already got my water, so I appreciate you guys for offering that for us because it is a hot one today. But when it comes to Benson Hill, what we've got going on here, before we were talking about it's exciting for the future of Benson Hill as that focus really shifts to kind of the grain and oilseed side of things. Tell us a little bit about that shift that you guys are seeing and just what it's been like to go through that process.
Sure. So we believe at Benson Hill that better feed, better food, better fuel all starts with better seed. And so we have built a really unique engine based on artificial intelligence to help us accelerate our effort. We've got a system called Crop OS, which allows us to make predictive crosses. So we can make crosses on the computer a lot faster than you can in the field. And we've generated over 4 million virtual varieties that way. And then we have what we call a crop accelerator, which allows us to do 4 or more cycles a year. And so because of that, we're able to move very quickly and move into those markets, like you mentioned, oil and feed. In the future, we have a product right now called UHPLO, which stands for ultra high protein, low oligosaccharides, which is a mouthful, but it's specifically directed at feed processors, feed producers, folks like Purdue. So we did a trial with Purdue. Fantastic results. Came out with a tremendous value back through the channel all the way to the grower of up to $200 an acre or more. And so our hope is that we can share that value back through the value chain and help Purdue come up with fatter, happier chickens, and do so by reducing their feed cost, which is important.
Thanks again to Dan Cosgrove of Benson Hill for joining today's show as well. You can find a link to that full conversation right about here on your screen. Before we wrap up the show, let's take a look at the closing markets with the folks at agmarket.net.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're here with Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. Robin, here at the beginning of the week, how did we see the grain markets trading?
Well, we saw the soybeans basically take back not completely what they lost on Friday, but showed more of a turnaround. And when you look at the charts on soybeans, it might be in that situation where it's kind of going sideways, trying to find or wait until we start getting a little bit more coming out of harvest time. So that's what the indication is showing, an uncertainty in the market, what we might see for yield. Well, so the market's kind of doing that back and forth chopping type situation. Corn was just a little bit higher, didn't see a whole lot of strength. We did see meal and soybean oil higher. And so that complex saw the strength. Wheat was not quite so much again. So the export inspections today, again, I don't think they're always a real big market mover, but they may have some influence relative to some of the traders' activity. Corn, we saw export inspections for the new crop, which is the first week was 1,822,500 metric ton. It was above the expectations, so it was very good. We did see meal at 434,700. It was right in the middle of expectations. Soybeans at 354,156 metric ton, again in the expectations. Oil was at 3,300 metric ton. That had a wide expectations, and that was from 0 to 15. So toward the low end, but it's kind of interesting that they put in a 0 expectations for soybean oil for new crop. But anyway, that's what they had. Wanted to be safe, I guess, rather than be sorry.
And then on the other side of the marketplace, in the livestock complex, Robin, what did we see in the cattle and hogs today?
Well, cattle made a real big turn this morning. First of all, they went lower, and then all of a sudden they just turned right around and just went higher. Now, I think a lot of that had to do with feeder cattle went down to the contract lows, bounced off of those lows. They didn't go any lower, so you saw a large amount of short covering, maybe some new buying interest on a technical basis down at those lows. Live cattle bounced from the lows from 3 weeks ago, so almost identical. Only live cattle were from 3 weeks ago. Feeder cattle were new contract or the contract lows. So I think what we saw was a lot of technical buying that really came into place, and that turned that market quickly, anticipating that maybe we're going to see a little bit more of a retracement or maybe some stability in the underlying cash. Now, cash last week was $2 lower, both for live cattle in the south and for dressed cattle in the north. So we've seen that as multiple weeks now that we've seen lower cattle trade, and that's because packers were able to purchase cattle ahead, plus feedlots were letting them go because each week that they've been holding on to them, they end up taking lower prices. So they've kind of been in the proverbial throwing in the towel. And and that's what's been pushing that market lower. So they've been quicker to take those bids. Now, packers have done a good job because they've always been purchasing ahead. So even last week, they've purchased quite a number of cattle ahead. That's already taking them through to the middle of the month. So that leaves them from being aggressive. They don't have to be very aggressive coming in. So into the week.
All right, Robin, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch with the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
They could call me directly if they would like at 877-256-3253, or go to our website. There's an 844 number on the contact us. You can feel free to call in. Somebody will answer the phone and help you in any way they can.
Right, Robin, thanks again for the analysis today, and we look forward to chatting again soon.
All right, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
That again was Robin Schmahl of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers close through the market window at iowaagnet.com. December corn up 1 even at 407 and a quarter. November soybeans up 13 even at 1018 even. October soybean meal down 10 cents at 320.70. Soybean oil up 86 cents at 41.07. Chicago wheat up 1.5 at 568 and a half. Kansas City hard red wheat down 1 3/4 at 575 3/4. Minneapolis spring wheat down 7 even at 606 3/4. December oats up 9 1/4 at 361 and a half. On the Merc, October live cattle up 175 at 176.92. September feeders up 342 at 237.72. October lean hogs down 70 cents at 78.80. Pork cutout went unchanged at 91.55. In September, Class 3 milk up 21 cents at 22.99. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. That also brings us to the end of today's episode. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM PM on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pods of Potential. You can find those on our website or on your favorite podcasting service at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Andy Petersen, and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.